Phoenix Down Radio is on the air. With your hosts, Klaus Nightbringer, Seyrr Tomoto, Seyo Mayo, and Luna Vox.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio episode number 18. Guys, we are legal. Guys. That would be an issue. How's that? Hello, are you guys there?
Are here.
That was weird. Okay, they probably didn't hear me because I was muted. That was messed up. So, what would it be without a screw up at the beginning of the episode, right, guys?
Hey, we got it out of the way early.
That's true. Anyway, welcome to the show. We've got a full house here, guys. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yo.
Womp womp. We've got Luna, we've got Seyrr, and we've got Seyo. And we are live from Luna's house. Luna, how did you get a house?
1 second. I'm not hearing anything over on the Twitch side. I don't know if anyone else is.
I'm seeing things going out. Are you guys hearing everything out there?
Can you hear all our lovely mellifluous voices?
Yeah, stream shows that things are going out, so hopefully it's just maybe you've got it muted. So
No, I have everything on blast.
Okay, it sounds like people can hear us, so we'll go ahead and we'll call her good. But I can understand.
My stream is just broken.
Yeah.
Are you recording, Klaus?
Yes, we are recording, so we're good there.
Good.
Good.
Oh, I
Just
left it 3
get everything out of the way in the beginning, just so we don't have to worry about it later.
Yep. Let's get all the major screw ups out of the way, so we make sure
All
that
right,
we're
everyone.
recording.
Bathroom break.
Anyways, welcome to Phoenix Down Radio, episode 18.
Where we talk about screwing up.
Oh, yep, there it is. The stream's working right now.
Okay. Well, this has been kind of a slow time again. You know, we're in that pre-patch lull. Everybody's anxiously waiting for part 2 of the 3.3 teasers to go out. We're going to get that next Sunday. So that'll be kind of interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got some goldsmith levels and I have just accomplished nothing else of note. My ventures ran out and I haven't bothered refilling them.
Well, you do something. I mean, you got probably have all those seals that you need to spend, right?
In theory, I could do that.
I mean,
That sounds like effort.
not so much.
I know. Playing games is hard.
I mean, I know,
So
right?
hard.
Things that we do
So
in our free
hard.
time is just so hard. I have to put effort into it. Oh my god.
I'm too busy with games to play other games, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. I got a few armor levels, so I finally have no more crafting jobs below 50 now, which is a very good thing. I can toss out a lot of crap.
And you can repair all your own gear.
Yeah.
So that's always a
Yay.
positive.
Remember that you can
Repair
do
all my
that.
own gear.
You can do that in mid-battle. I have had, like, in the middle of a hate combo on a boss, repaired my gear. It was kind of great to watch my hit points shoot up.
Yeah, I've done it.
You shouldn't let
I've
your
done
gear
it.
break, though. Come on.
These things happen.
Yeah, I know. One thing I note that did happen, my raid static Daijo Booty, we finally cleared A6S this week, so that's a good thing. We're going to try A7 on Monday, so that'll be interesting. Please look forward to the rape.
You can do it.
I've heard 7 is better than 6, so you may be alright.
We'll see what
I heard
happens.
6 was the big stumbling block.
Yeah. But I have to, probably tomorrow I'll spend a day watching videos, and then Monday we go in, we're going to just have some fun, see what happens, and then Tuesday we're going to try and rush through A5 and 6 again so we can maybe work more practice time on 7. We're going to have a couple of people missing, but that's kind of what happens. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
not much else going on for us in the game, but there were some interesting things happening within the community. Luna, you want to talk about some of those?
Sure. Well, I never told you the story of how I got my house.
You didn't tell us the story about
No,
how you got
you're
your
right.
house. We kind of glossed over that, didn't we?
Yeah, I was trying to make sure people could hear us and everything. Trying to be all responsible and shit. But no, I ended up getting a house. Not the size that I wanted, but it's mine. And I can always sell it and then get the size that I want. Now that they're dropping the price. But yeah. Someone was selling it very cheap on the Party Finder, and I swooped in and I got it.
I
It
don't
is
know.
mine.
This house does appear to have a poltergeist problem.
Yeah, we've got things floating
No.
around in midair.
Don't worry about it.
Things floating around in midair. pictures
I'm
of
magical.
dead
This is
people
the
behind
scholarly
us.
house of this is my scholarly house.
I'm pretty sure you have to disclose any spatial anomalies when you're selling it.
Maybe the rules are different in the lavender beds versus the goblet, but I don't know.
Oh, you guys.
I don't know. Do you even have an HOA over here?
That's kind of a nightmare thought.
Right?
Well, who was it that wanted to start the HOA?
That was Seyrr.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but that's one where I'd be in charge. I get to be the power mad dictator. That's all right.
I see how it goes.
Yeah.
See, everything's okay as long as he's in charge, but if anyone else,
Then
no,
it's
no.
a nightmare.
Dude, you
Heaven
guys
forbid.
finally understand. I've been waiting for this moment.
Sarah, I understand you on a spiritual level. That's why we get along so well.
I understood that from
See
the
what I have to
beginning.
put up with, people?
Hey, you get to put up with.
You get the privilege of putting up with Sarah, so sit your ass down and put up.
Put up or shut up?
I feel
Pretty
like
much.
there's a phrasing issue there, but damned if I want to explore it.
Anyway.
Back to community news. Nell Celestine's fundraiser happened. It went very well for her. Nell did an amazing job of raising over $300, and it was matched for a total of over $650. So that was awesome for her
Nice.
to help out a Kids Help Fund.
Yeah, I sadly I missed that. I had prior engagements that weekend. Well, one thing that we actually could have discussed before, Vox and I, we had a 5K last weekend, same day that Nell was doing her fundraiser, and I don't know, I had just a lot of stuff going on that day, so I had sadly missed it, but I got to help Vox go on her first 5K. So those
Yeah,
of
I
you
did that thing.
who follow us on Twitter would have seen that. And Chili commented that he was just tired of reading about it. Oh,
It
Chili.
wasn't that bad. It was fun.
And I had another one last night, actually. And last night was actually very cold. At least for here, it was like 40 degrees, and we had like 20-mile-an-hour winds. So it was kind of crazy. But ended up setting a personal best time, so I was pretty happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's
it's
kind
so
of a thing.
freaking Minnesota is dumb in the fact that it was like 95 the other day,
Mhm.
and now it was like 35 last night.
We had snow
Yeah.
again.
We had snow. Where the fuck was the snow?
The family was talking about they had snow up north.
Ew.
There were some flurries
Yeah.
last night a little bit as I was driving
Yeah.
home, so
Ew.
It's like
Ew.
May.
it is May.
Wow.
Ew. Anyway, speaking of May, Duty Commenced episode 12 aired May 6th.
Ooh, nice sig.
Segue.
That always makes you think of the little driving car thing.
Vroom, vroom. Anyways, but of course, knowing that we had our live letter, of course, there has to be a duty commence to go with said live letter because we're all not Asian and can't speak.
Oh, whatever. Enough of people are translating it. We know this already.
Yep.
Right.
There wasn't a lot new that was let known at that, with the exception of one happy little surprise that we saw at the end.
Yep. Seeker.
I believe
Was
that's the name they're going
introduced-
for. Yep.
Yes, that's the way that's the name she's introduced on. She is actually also known as Dancing Fighter and Aya. But we had her join the community team for them. But interesting note, Klaus and I actually met her at Anime Detour before we even knew that she was on the team. So that was a really cool thing that happened.
Yep, she was a part of a Twitch panel at the convention we were at, and we just wanted to talk with her. She had expressed that she was a Final Fantasy XIV player at the time, and we thought that it was cool to meet another streamer who kind of shared in our interests, and we got into a nice conversation with her. We're following each other on Twitter and Twitch and all that stuff, and now she's part of the community team. So we were extremely happy and extremely pleased when we saw that. So congratulations, Aya, for that, and hopefully everything goes well for you.
Welcome to hell. I mean, let's be honest here.
Don't scare her off too fast. We kind of need
Yeah,
this community
we want to
rest.
keep her around for a little while.
Yep.
If they haven't already scared her off, there's nothing more I could do.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, you're right.
Just make sure she gets a chair.
Give her a damn chair.
Are they really hurting for chairs? I'll chip in like $5 for a folding chair.
Right?
That was the joke that day. It was just they only had the 2 chairs there, so she kind of, when they introduced her, she just kind of stood in the background.
Guys, you can like add an extra 5 cents to the subscription fees and get a chair. It's okay.
But not the legacy ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
goddamn, no.
No. I'm willing to chip in my nickel.
All right.
Anyways, speaking of houses, they announced new housing costs in 3.3.
I figured they were going to actually increase
Everyone
the
was kinda surprised
prices.
about it. Yep, everyone was really surprised. They actually decreased the price of housing.
For most servers.
No, for every single server.
Actually, some
Well,
of
some
the
of them stayed the
lower...
same.
No, some of them actually went up.
Oh,
It did actually go up for the lowest tier of servers. They actually got a slight increase in price. But for the legacy servers, like what Hyperion is, and a lot of the other servers, the price was a pretty significant decrease, especially when you're looking at the large houses.
it's interesting that they announced it that far in advance. Usually this is something they hold very close to the vest. So if they are letting us know that early, I wonder what expectation they have of what people are going to do with that information, if that's going to be some result that they're aiming for.
Well, I think that they don't want people to try and like sell off their houses that they have now, because real estate is going to go down in value by a lot.
I could see that sort of people are going to be speculating madly about what's going to happen. Let's remove some uncertainty from the market.
Yeah, I mean, so you're still going to pay a little bit more than what market value is for if you want a house now, but it's really going to go down in price once the new housing awards are released. If you currently have a home and want to move somewhere else, you're not going to make back the full amount at this point. You may actually lose quite a bit at that point. But I don't know. Yeah. Personally, I'm going to probably wait until the system comes in place where you can actually transfer to a different house.
Yeah.
They said that's supposed to be coming around 3.4 in that time frame, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that they even like finalized it was actually going to happen.
Oh yeah, that's they've been talking about for a while now. They're speculating, I think 3.4, but I could be mistaken.
We'll see about that, because they said they were going to increase the items that you can hold in a house too, and they still haven't done that.
Well, I mean, we still have another live letter to hear about, and there's a lot of information they still have yet to tell us about. So
yeah, we'll see.
But 720 new houses per server. So, I mean, that's going to be a lot of opportunity for people to get the home they want.
Yep.
It's 4 awards and 4 subawards each, right?
Correct. So there's going to be, it's going to be 50% more housing than what we currently have. And then they also... go ahead, sorry.
We'll see how fast it goes.
Probably within, I would say on Hyperion, it's probably going to be gone in about 2 to 3 weeks. With most of the largest gone probably within a day.
Yeah, I mean, like our prices for the medium and large houses cut in half.
Yeah, basically, a large used to be 87.5 mil. Now it's going to be only a maximum of 50 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Mediums were almost 40 mil. Now they're only max of 20 mil. So I foresee the larges being gone within a day. Mediums will probably be gone within 3 to 4 days, and you'll probably be able to get a small for a few weeks. But
I might get a small. I don't know yet.
I might upgrade to a medium. If I take a loss, I take a loss. No big deal to me.
anyway, speaking of live letters, the next live letter was announced as well. Like I said, that's going to be May 22nd. We're assuming 2 a.m. I don't know. Time is subject to change, but you can always tune in to our website, phoenixdownradio.com, and we will be posting when they announce the official times, as well as
man.
the links. So
Do you think we'll have more yokai watch delights?
more flying sperm mounts,
God, I hope
Awkward.
not.
No, please, God, no.
flying eggs.
Mm.
But Easter already passed.
That's true.
Flying yukata.
So, like I said, not a ton going on in gaming community, but like I said, if there's stuff that you want to know more about, you can always send us an email, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. Say what you were going to say?
Final Fantasy X came out on Thursday for
Oh,
Steam.
duh. Yeah, we just didn't write that down, did we? And I
Nope,
actually bought
totally
it.
missed that. I did too.
Luna.
I
Oh,
did too.
We bought it
Hey!
and we forgot to mention it. How terrible of us.
I bought it. I've actually been playing more of that past few days, and I've been playing 14. Well, I guess not really. I gave it about 1-2 hours. I'm already at Kilika, so.
Oh, and as long as we're mentioning other Final Fantasy news, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, one of their mobile games, did just get an English port announced. I've actually been playing the Japanese edition for the past couple months, and it's fairly fun.
Nice. I'm
They're
check
going to
that out
have
when
some.
it comes out.
They're going to have some kind of social media campaign where if there's enough people doing whatever it is they do, giving the Facebook likes, and I don't exactly know what thing they want for it, but you get Magitech Terra, some extra summon tickets for pulling monsters from units from the machine, other fun stuff like that. If you play stuff like Record Keeper, it's in a somewhat similar vein, so I'd give it a look. I've been enjoying it.
Chili in the chat is saying he's been playing the English version now, so I don't know. Is he got a is it like a UK version, an EU?
I want to say it was like Sweden or Norway or something like that. If you set your account to be that you're in one of those countries, that you can get access to some version of it. It's a little weird.
Or maybe
I'm just gonna.
he's paying off the some people over in England to get access to stuff early. Who knows?
Dude, you have better stuff to waste your money on, like us.
Very true. Well, we're never a waste of money. We are money well spent.
Mostly because Klaus doesn't let me touch the finances.
Because if I did, you'd spend it all on drops in Record Keeper.
Hey,
Or
some
on
of it would all.
or on the new Puzzles and Dragons crossover, right?
Yeah, but no, some of it would also be just for foot massages. But yeah, Puzzle and Dragons. They've done some Final Fantasy collaborations in the past, and they did announce, I think, in 2 days, the second Final Fantasy collaborations coming up. Lots of Final Fantasy characters added to their rare egg machine as well, including Final Fantasy XIV's Y'shtola. I'm hoping to get her. I think she'll be a nice addition to one of my teams.
Yeah, I'm having to limit the different games that I'm playing on mobile because I don't have time for everything, man. I put enough time into Record Keeper as it is.
You could get rid of sleep. What has that ever done for you?
Oh,
Keep
only
you from
kept me
doing stuff.
sane.
Exactly. You don't need that.
Of course I do. Just imagine how bad this podcast would be if I wasn't somewhat sane.
Sleep is for the weak.
Maybe the weekend.
The weekend.
Well,
Yeah.
But sleep, that's where I'm a Viking. Anyway, that kind of covers some of the things that we forgot to write down in our notes on the game and community news. So, Like I said, keep
As
track.
you can tell, we're not very organized this week.
It's been one of those weeks. We actually have a lot of notes here, but I left a certain somebody in charge of the game and community news. I will not mention any names. And but no,
Hey, I missed one thing.
giving you crap.
Get off my nuts.
Wait, what?
What?
Exactly.
Damn. Revelations here. On radio.
Hey, we don't judge.
No, it's just something that
You
nobody
guys
knew.
sounded awfully excited at that news.
No, more shocking
more
than
worried.
anything. Moving on.
Yeah, it's just kind of been sort of a.
Yeah, one of those
It's
weeks.
hard to care about stuff right now. It's definitely that lull setting in. You're right.
May is one of those months where it's really slow in a lot of ways. We're digging for news, we're digging for things to cover, and trying to make sure to stay relevant and entertaining while still giving a damn, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
all right, well, like I said, that kind of covers that. Let's move on to our discussion topic of the week. With the last live letter, they talked about a lot of new content that they want to bring in, but suspiciously absent from the last live letter was mention of some other content that was new as of the last catch-up patch and has become somewhat irrelevant in lately in the game. And I speak, of course, of things like Diadem and our favorite game, Lords of Verminion.
We can punch that game so much. I
But-
mean, it kind of deserves it, but we do punch it a lot.
I mean, while one was started as an April Fool's joke, and according to many really still is, or should have remained as such, I, like a lot of people, think Diadem actually really had a lot of potential, and I hope that it's something that does get addressed in the live letter coming up. I guess it's possible we'll hear about that soon, but I figured this week would be a great time for us to go ahead and address it and see what everybody has to say about it. I'll kind of start off here a little bit. For me personally, when the Diadem came out, I was really excited about it. We were really bashing our heads against A3S. It was a very difficult bit of content. We still didn't get it cleared, sadly. So we were kind of stuck on the type of gear that we were able to get to keep upgrading and progressing within Savage. So when Diadem came out and they announced that it'd be an alternate way for people to get eye level 210 gear, it really got everybody excited. So we jumped right at it. I mean, we made sure that all of our airships were able to get access to the islands so we can get into hard mode. We made sure that we had enough company credits so we could get to get into Diadem, the mission Ceruleum tanks.
Mission Ceruleum, yeah.
And we ran the hell out of it. I mean, Luna and I mean, we met a lot of good people from running Diadem, and I'm actually friends. I mean, we met Seyrr through that. And I met Skage and Riss and Marth and Nestor, all people that I'm in a static with now. So, I mean, like I said, it was great for that. So, I mean, I'm very happy. And I have fond memories and positive things when I think about Diadem. But once 3.2 came out, it died. Well, actually, even before then. Even before that.
Maybe 3 weeks after it was released.
A little longer than that, I think.
Yeah, it was about a month.
Speaking of someone who's watching from the outside, just like seeing constantly talk about Diadem, okay, let's try this against this thing. Hey, where do we want to go tonight? Hey, here's this thing I got. And then it just dropped off like a rock. It's like 1 week it was all anyone talked about, and then it's like, someone want to do Diadem? Dead silence.
Crickets.
Anyone?
Yeah, when you completely screw up the drop rates, that shit kind of happens.
Yeah, they did say that the drop rates were a little bit too fast from what they were expecting. Granted, yeah, they were pretty. It was a pretty generous drop rates, and I believe the way that the gear got its stats was a little bit generous as well. For those of you who maybe haven't had a chance to run it or aren't familiar with the content or the concept of it, all of the gear is going to be random glamoured as well as random statted. So you have a chance to getting between 1 and 4 substats and a random look to that item. So it was RNG up the wazoo for that stuff. But a lot of people in the beginning were able to get some godly gear, myself included on that. I had gear that had 4 stats. It had crit, det, accuracy, and skill speed on it in not insignificant numbers. So, I mean, it actually far outweighed anything that I could get out of Gordius Savage. So, I mean, in that case, I think they kind of were a little bit too generous, but when they kind of tried to rein that in, they went a little bit too far the other way, and they made it irrelevant.
Yeah, it's always been a tricky thing on that. I know in previous ones they've talked about, hey, we're going to set the power level a little lower and then adjust it up. Because if you go the other direction, then people get very upset at having the really awesome thing taken away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a fan of the Diablo 3 style of loot grinding. I like the way it worked in Diadem. I kind of have high hopes of what they can do possibly with Palace of the Dead. But I mean, as long as they keep people engaged in it, then it'll succeed. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah, the biggest. Go ahead. Sorry.
If they do whatever to it that makes it less viable or less fun or less anything, and then people stop doing it, then they're going to stop doing it forever. You can't really bring it back from the... Oh, man, I just walked into a terrible point. You can't really bring it back from the dead, can you?
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, that they haven't addressed any type of changes they're going to make to it yet. I'm hoping that, like I said, it had good potential, but like I said, it's irrelevant right now. They need to give it some relevance again. Now, aside from putting in something that is required for like a relic drop, like what they tried to do, they put there's a lot of gathering specific things that are in Diadem that you can only get there that were needed to create the items for the last relic phase. And so, I mean, aside from doing something like that, I mean, what kinds of things can they do?
Even that doesn't really revitalize it in the same way.
No.
That doesn't mean you have like hordes of people going and fighting the monsters. That just means you have gatherers going around trying to be stealthy. I went in for a couple items for my anima weapon, and I didn't really. I saw, I think, maybe one party fighting, and I saw a whole bunch of people fishing.
Yeah, I mean, Luna, you were able to do some gathering parties relatively regularly yet.
I go in there. Actually, at this point, I have few people that I go in there like twice a day on. I've been going in there probably the last week and a half, twice a day, just fishing pterodactyls or ret staff or mining there. But yeah, I go in there a lot just for gathering. And usually this big, huge zone, like this is, for people who haven't been in there, it is a huge ass zone.
It's about the size of Sea of Clouds.
Yeah, think Sea of Clouds. And it's literally just me and maybe like a handful of other people in this big, huge zone that used to have
70 people.
70 people, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's just quiet.
And if you get anybody who goes in there for battle, the only thing they're trying to do is they're trying to kill the weakest stuff possible so they can get as many chests as possible so they can turn that stuff in for spoils again so they can continue to get materia. That's about the only thing that
it's not even worth to go in there for battle. There's no one battling.
But I guess, I mean, that'd be the only reason right now to do it is so you can get the spoils so you can use 20 of them to get a tier 5 materia to meld to your current armor.
Yeah, that is a reasonably reliable way to get the material you want, I believe.
But so is just running Void Arc.
Not really, because I mean, okay, so you can do that once per week. Well, what if I wanted to mill a whole bunch of crap in 1 week?
Well, don't use 5s then.
And then I hope you have 7 best friends who are willing to go into Diadem for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an option if you want to try to speed up the pace.
Or you need to go through and do it the old-fashioned way and spirit bond it.
Is there anything that you can reliably spirit bond to get 5s?
Ooh.
I think the Sky Pirate gear, but it's going to be a random. But I mean, I think you can get 4s or 5s out of that, maybe 3s as well. But mainly 4s and a chance for 5s is what I've been reading. like I said, but it's going to be a crapshoot. Whereas you go and get 20 I-160 items out of a diadem, 20 bronze chests. You can get 20 spoils, which will give you a tier 5 materia of your choice.
Yeah, that seems a lot more worth it.
But fortunately, I still have almost 2 full stacks of spoils from when we were zerging it.
So, I mean, the other thing I would want to ask is, I mean, like, is it necessarily a bad thing if old content just dies out?
Well, I can see it if it's been used for a while, but I mean we got maybe half a patch out of Diadem. Like I said, it died out shortly after 3.15. Like I said, it had a small resurgence with the need for animal weapon items, but like I said, that was more on the gathering side itself. Like I said, there's a few people who probably, like I said, use it to get materia. Other than that, like I said, it's become irrelevant. Now, with 3.3, the odd number patches are catch-up patches now. So, it's going to be the patch where we're going to be given an alternate path to get, I-230 and I-240 gear. Now, I see them using that as an option to maybe they'll drop the lowest tier of gear out of Diadem and maybe put in the gold chests the I-240 gear.
Would be nice.
I mean,
I know they're definitely not opposed to
making those changes.
To making those changes.
But so I mean, that's something that I think that they would. I think that would really bring people back to it. Also, I think what they need to do is they need to maybe tighten up their random stats a little bit more. Now, Seyrr and I kind of had a little bit of a back and forth on this last night, and hopefully we can revisit that again here during the show.
Just a little bit.
Like I was talking about, I got some freaking god gear out of initial Diadem where I had all 4 stats, and it was, like I said, good numbers, and like I said, it made anything out of Gordius look like it was crap, because I didn't have to worry about, do I have enough accuracy, am I maxing out this, it was all good stuff, and I was able to increase all of my stats at once. While that's great on one side of the paper, it also makes doing the content that you're trying to gear up for irrelevant as well.
But does it though? Because, I mean, really, if I still get the weapon out of A8 or A4 or whatever, it still makes the climb relevant to get there.
Yeah, but we're getting a boost to our anima weapons as well on this patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, still... I think it's
So it's kind of interesting that you mentioned the whole thing about like using anima weapons or relic weapons or other ones as a way to sort of revitalize content. I know oftentimes it's been sort of a way to get people to do older content that newer players are trying to work on. And it's a big thing for an MMO. You want to bring in, when you bring in new players, you don't want them to have an impossible climb. Final Fantasy XIV has a little bit of a more difficulty with that in other games because it's so story driven. It's harder to just say, okay, we'll put in this option to jump you to level 55 and you can skip this bunch of story. Like, that doesn't work for something that's just story driven.
Yeah, you lose a lot of relevance.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've heard of them saying they might do that for 4.0, and I'm honestly a little bit scared by that because I really don't want the MSQ to lose any relevance.
But on the other hand, if you, I already remember with Heavensward, there were newer players who were a little bit grumpy about having to go all the way through the MSQ to get to Heavensward, when one of, at least for some of them, the reason they picked it up was because they were really interested in the new jobs.
Yeah,
if you make it 2 expansions that you have to plow through.
I will say 90% of the people who are complaining about that were the people who are trying to review the game.
Yeah, it was all review outlets. Like, oh, why can't I WoW boost to level 90 and go straight into Draenor? This isn't Blizzard, guys.
I do remember some folks from a free company who I haven't seen around, so maybe they decide not to stick with it. But I do remember some people expressing frustration over that.
Well, I mean, I guess I can understand it. As an MMO, you do kind of expect to be able to jump into the higher tier of content, right, and a little bit. Chili's talking
least
about
not-
he reviewed it and he didn't bitch, but Chili, you also had a high level character, so yeah, you didn't have any right to bitch.
And I mean, so I can see the, hey, we're gonna have the new relic weapon quest, have you do some of this old content, so we get the people in there so that the newer players are actually getting parties to run it. Like that makes sense to me. But I don't see why you'd necessarily be like, why you'd have it going into Diadem. It's like, is there some reason that the newer players want to be able to run Diadem? Is there some reason you want to make it successful to them? Is there something special they can get out of there? It doesn't seem like the same reasoning, so I don't know if there's something that I've missed, or if it was just the, oh hey, this died out a lot faster than we thought, let's do a Hail Mary to give it a little more life.
I guess, I mean, I think with something like that, I mean, I would like to see, you know, their time and effort not go to waste, so to speak. Like I said, I think it's a good idea with what they were trying to do, but they just need to make sure that they're updating it and keeping it current with, you know, the right eye level, increasing the difficulty of the monsters to, you know, so that way they can continue to make it a relevant zone and make it scale with the game as it goes. I mean,
Well, could that be what they're trying to do with Palace of the Dead? Because
that's a whole new thing, though. I mean, it's a totally different set of mechanics. You're not going from you know, large alliance raid type of thing. You're going to a single to light party content there, where you're going to be able to grow yourself at that point. Diadem, like I said, that was meant for the casual people, free companies, and just, you know, groups of people who wanted to do something that was more than just fate grind or run dungeons or run through Crystal Tower series, you know, stuff like that.
I feel like they backed themselves into a hole though with Diadem, because
They did. They absolutely did.
And the reason I say that is because, okay, so we have the fighters over here and we have the gatherers over there, right? They don't like each other because you all need to get into parties to do this stuff, right? So when it first comes out, the gatherers want to get into the fighting parties, and the fighting parties, some of them don't know any better, so some of the gatherers get in there. And then by the end of it, just before it dies, you have one group of people kind of hating the other group of people. You know, why won't the fighting people let me into this party? Why can't these gatherers get their own damn parties? And then on top of that, you have an instance zone, and it's timed. So it's like, yeah, I think you're trying to, like, is it an open world zone or is it not an open world zone? Because what they were trying to do, the things that they were trying to accomplish, suggested that they should have gone with an open world zone. But the things they actually did with it suggested that they should have just, you know, put a little bit more structure to it when giving it an instant zone. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I guess my thought on it is, you know, with Diadem, it was content that I don't think it was really meant to be used for duty find to get a group. It was meant for party find. You know, you would build up your party. You would say, okay, we're doing this for gathering, or we're doing this for battle spoils, and then you would get 1, 2, or 3 parties, and then you would fly out together, either from your free company or whatever. That way you had full control over what people were doing in that, and then you didn't have to worry about having, oh, this guy was going to drop and go gather stuff instead. The fact that they put it in Duty Finder, I think, did end up hurting it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, of course it did. If it wasn't meant for Duty Finder, it should have been content that should be able to be registered for Duty Finder.
Yeah.
It's just not an irresponsible developer move.
I feel a little bit like there's this whole thing of like, hey, you can freely switch classes. We want to have content that takes advantage of that, where you can do the, hey, you're doing a battle type thing, and now you're going to go ahead and switch to gathering. And so I feel a little like maybe they wanted to try to take advantage of that, but it comes with these problems of what people's expectations are.
Yeah, I'm seeing some really good discussion going on in the chat. We do have a Discord channel for our show, so for anybody who's interested in, giving their opinion, you can go ahead and click on the Discord link below the stream here, and it'll jump you right into our lobby chat. So if you want to join in and give your opinion, let us know. go ahead and jump in there. Or if you don't see that, you can go to phoenixdownradio.com/discord, and that will forward you right to that page as well. So if you're interested in getting on the show and giving your opinion on what we're talking about here, by all means, please do so.
Yeah. You guys are smart people. We like hearing from you.
Yeah, I'm liking a lot of what I'm reading in there. New follower, Nerdbirds TV. He actually talked about, he remembered people hating to get new people who boosted to 90 in WoW and hopping into a raid. I can definitely see how that would be a complaint, and one reason why you necessarily wouldn't want to have people boost like that, because you want people to learn their job, and B, understand what's going on in the game, right?
Even like the most basic mechanics.
Yeah.
Basically, with that WoW thing, that was WoW's last desperate attempt to try to get more subscribers.
Well, I mean,
That's all that was.
Well, they did it. They did it twice. They're about to do it a third time.
Yeah, I actually just got an email offering to get a free download of the current expansion and the level boost. I'm not hugely interested, but like, new players are the lifeblood of a game. If the new players do stop, it does seem like it starts dying out.
I mean, Blizzard is kind of, speaking of holes,
Oh dear.
they're kind of in one right now.
Oh, that is not where I thought you were going with that.
What have they done? Do like 3 million?
Oh
Active
no.
subs?
They're still
shit is going south for them.
and they're still only the number one MMO out there.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's
Cool story, bro.
It's not just necessarily the current size. It's how much you expect it to grow or shrink. You
Yeah.
can see that in stock market stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's starting to fall off the radar, so to speak, and people are starting to find different avenues to spend their MMO dollars.
Usually this one.
Yeah, but people do go to a lot of the other free-to-play MMOs that are out there because they play WoW for how long, and they give them their subscription money for however long they play, and then they kind of feel lost because they no longer have. It's like the company doesn't really care, so to speak. You know what I mean? That's where I'm really enjoying the way the dev team with Final Fantasy XIV is. They're very open with the community. We get a lot of feedback. They listen to us in certain ways. I mean, they don't listen to every little nitpick and things like that. But
It's probably for the best. You
Well,
don't
exactly.
want to spend all your time chasing public opinion.
no, and I'm not saying that how they're doing it is bad. I think they're making a good balance with it right now. So we get their ear on the important things. They listen to us, and they keep things relevant, and they don't keep us in the dark. I mean, that was probably the worst thing that happened with Final Fantasy XI, was that dev team was basically, we're going to do this, here you go, figure it out.
Life under Tanaka.
Yeah, I went back and actually finished that Rhapsody Savannah deal content over the last week or two.
I want to. I just can't really stomach the UI anymore.
I dealt with it. It was pretty. I cried a little bit.
I may go back and watch somebody who does it, or maybe find a YouTube video of some of that stuff. But like I said, I hung up that character a while ago, and I tried to go back, and like I said, we discussed this. It just wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never
But yeah.
even played,
I
so
mean, I might play the shit out of the mobile reboot, but
Yeah, but I was listening to some other shows talking about that, and it sounds like it's probably gonna be a totally disconnected universe. It'll be taking place on Vana'diel, but it's not gonna like draw in your character or anything like that. You're probably gonna be starting over from scratch.
I mean that's fine at this point. If it's a completely new game, which I think it is, that's completely okay.
We'll see how it goes when we get to it.
So, as other content that's kind of relegated to the irrelevant category, like I said, we mentioned it at the beginning of this, everybody's favorite game within a game, Lords of Verminion.
All right, guys, gotta go. Bye.
sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah,
You guys are so cruel.
I'm probably the only person who's played it with any type of regularity at any point, and I don't even like the game.
As someone must be. I saw a couple names on the tournament board. Not
Yeah,
very many. If
2?
someone, yeah, but those two people won a bunch of MGP.
Yeah.
Good for
Win
them.
traders for that Empoleon thing.
Yeah, well, like I said, the only reason I have not played one game against another player, I did finally get through all of the challenges and I got my Twintania minion. So now basically for me,
And now with,
Verminion is now 3 games a week for my 10k bonus, right?
but don't you see? Now that you have the Twintania minion, you have a much better option for your units in the game. Probably, maybe. I don't know. I haven't actually seen what it does.
Is not how this works.
No.
I probably not.
Oh,
No.
fireworks.
Is that safe to do in the house?
It's
Hey,
not
if
my
you're
damage
putting
deposit.
animals in here, I'm sure I can work.
Did you put in some sort of ward down in the basement to keep it from blowing up from fireworks?
There's a hot tub you can jump into if anything lights on fire. You'll be safe in there.
It's not my
Sure.
resale
There's
value.
a shower. You're good. You can't start on fire if you're wet.
So getting back to
There are some lakes that are counterexamples to that. I just want to point out.
yeah, getting back to the whole point of this, is there anything that can be done to make that relevant?
Remove it from the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's especially hard
Relevant.
because it's a gold saucer thing, and one of the big things about gold saucer has been we don't want to make it necessary. We want to be like the opposite. It's supposed to be something you do because you want to for fun.
See, I think that.
But
Oh, go ahead.
Chocobo racing is fun. Triple Triad is fun. Lords of Verminion is not fun.
I don't
Well,
think
yes.
they understand what fun is.
But I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, hey, we're going to add some must-have prize to it," because that goes against the entire spirit of the gold saucer.
I will say this: if Lords of Verminion were a mobile game outside of Final Fantasy XIV, yeah, I think it would have a lot more positive reaction to it.
Yeah, whatever happened to that Square Enix Portal app?
It's still around. It does
Like-
things of some sort. I don't know. I get occasional push notifications from it, and I promptly ignore them.
I mean, I never downloaded it because I was promised 14 connection to that Triple Triad app, and we never got there, so I didn't really bother to download it.
Yeah,
I think I have a free copy of Final Fantasy II installed on it. I should play that.
Yeah, I've got 1 and 2 free from that, and I occasionally play Triple Triad on it. I try and sign in a little bit so I can get points, so I can hopefully get a bunch of Mithril in Record Keeper for this
Yeah,
month.
they're doing that tie-in promotion.
Oh, okay. Now I'm interested.
Yeah, if
Just sign in every so often, and if the community does enough, then we get neat loot. That's the basic idea.
if there's a total of 500,000 points earned during that time frame by the entire community, we're gonna get a bunch of Mithril and 4-star growth eggs.
You get significantly more than 1 point per sign-in before you ask.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
I think on average you can probably get about 3 to 4,
Does it cost anything?
absolutely free.
Okay.
If you want to
I'm
play
in.
more games, you can buy more quote unquote stamina or crystals to get more games, but otherwise
No
it's
thanks. I don't even do that for Record Keeper.
so.
But once again, if you give gamers sufficient free stuff, they will slog through whatever. Oh, sorry, quote unquote free stuff.
I think they do Triple Triad pretty well in that game though, and it goes through all the different Final Fantasy editions. They've got 14 different NPCs you can play against, one for each of the main numbered titles, and they have cards that are from every game. So I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, I'll admit that I like in all of its various iterations. Part of the reason I play Triple Triad is just because, hey, I really like this character. I want to own their card.
Yep. I think I play it more on the mobile app than I do in Final Fantasy XIV. So I think I would also probably play Lords of Verminion more if it were a mobile app versus in the game.
That'd be pretty neat, especially if there were the mobile apps that did tie into it such that you did get MGP rewards or something similar.
Or you
That'd
could
be
use
nice.
the minions that you have acquired in the game in the mobile app.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just link it directly with
Lodestone.
with your load cell. I know that they talked about. I think it was PAX East. Correct me, somebody, if I'm wrong. They are actually working on a companion app for
Yes.
14 that
They-
will allow you to retainer stuff.
They've been working on that for a while. They're hoping. Luna, oh my god. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh my god, Luna.
I fucking had to.
Oh my god, Luna. For those not watching the stream live or on YouTube, somebody in the chat had, Luna said, please send an email to Yoshi P with the definition of fun that our new follower Nerdbirds TV had put in there to Yoshi P and write in the subject LOV. So Nerdbirds goes, what's his email? And Luna goes, I love Lords of Verminion 6969 at squareenix.com. So to give you a little bit of a idea why the hell we just kind of derailed the show for that. So
Everybody hates Dominion, basically.
We are going to have a restraining order out before FanFest, aren't we?
Yeah, we're not going to be able to talk with anybody from SE after this episode now. Thanks a lot.
No, LBR does the same shit. We're fine.
Yeah,
Oh, sweet. So it's going to be like this really massive joint restraining order.
basically. Yep. We're gonna have to have our own party outside of the Paris, and yeah, we're
just gonna have a little tent.
I'm gonna be holding my boombox over my head, playing papaya. Papaya, 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 papaya.
Oh my god.
Papaya. Damn it.
Anyway, like I said, I think that's something that can be done to make Verminion at least somewhat palatable to most of the people. Is to pull it out of the game, make it a mobile app, and tie it into the Square Enix app that they're coming out with.
Yeah, I do wonder how much of the content is like enjoyable if you pull it out of the MMO setting. Like, there's a lot more of this stuff that I'd happily do when I'm riding on the train.
Yeah, we're not. This isn't. Sorry, I just want to interject this. I was going to say this isn't. Pimp My Ride. Yoshi P is not Exhibit, and we do not want a game in our game so we can game while we game. Okay. Anyway, you were saying.
I was saying it might even be a little bit more fun if they actually had touch controls because it feels like it was designed for it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
yeah, I could see that.
So I guess like I said, I think that's the perfect fix. So please, Yoshi.
I wonder if that was the intention all along.
I would love to see that. And if people who want to play it in the game, that'll give them the option to. But people can also then play it outside the game, and enforce rules to, like, if you do a tournament, that if you disconnect, it counts as a loss. Things like that.
Guys, I just realized something.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Just realized something. Remember when they did the VR Titan?
Yes.
Maybe that was a test run for VR Verminion.
I am sorry, you just cut out in the middle of that.
Maybe it was a test run for Lords of Verminion virtual reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luna Vox has left the building.
Oh my.
And mic drop.
So, would I get to ride around on the back of one of my minions in this VR setting? Because I could be cool with that.
No,
You
but you
are
can
the
stare at
minion.
the Gubu's crotch the whole entire time and have it be in your face. It'd
I'm
just be
uncomfortable with this.
just like Titan.
I
Bow
am
down,
both uncomfortable
Overdweller.
with this and mentally writing Titan Gubu fanfic.
Nerdbirds, I don't believe she's been drinking this episode.
No, I haven't been drinking. I swear.
2
Not
weeks-
this episode. Last episode.
2 weeks
yeah.
ago, yeah, she had a whole bottle of
I'm just
Moscato.
like this all the time.
Yeah.
Luna?
What?
Titan / Gubu or Gubu / Titan?
Uno de los dos.
Okay, I'm on it.
So, that was a thing, I guess. Anyway,
Of course he would get shit-faced drunk the week I'm not there.
so I guess, with all this little discussion, we had the big question. I'm trying to be serious here so we can actually
Okay.
kind of move on.
Sarah's doing it bad.
I see that. And it's not going to be read on the air, Seyrr.
I need somewhere to write.
Then, not right where we're reading, okay? Yes, folks, we do this live.
We
So,
do this live, and Sarah's trying to Ron Burgundy us right now.
yep.
Don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, shall we move on then?
Well, I was just going to kind of put a closing note on this. The big question remains, is content like DDM something that can be or they want to be to salvage? and update it so it continues to be relevant? Or is it one of those ideas, while it was good for while it came out, it just doesn't have the staying power to keep relevant in a vertical MMO? Is there anything else that you guys think of that you would consider irrelevant in this game that you would like to see the development team work on and make better? Email us, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. Send us a message in the website, phoenixdownradio.com. You can put a comment right on the posts when we post this podcast up, and just let us know what you think. We want to hear you guys' feedback. We really enjoy it.
Or even get on Discord. We love actually directly talking to people too. So,
We've had people come on after the show. You don't have to be on the air if you don't want to, but just like hanging out, talking afterwards, that's also really funny.
Yep, after the show, we're planning on. We are doing a Patreon account. This is the first time I'm bringing it up this week. I don't want to push it on everybody's face. We did actually get a new Patreon follower. Thank you very much, Jordan, for following us and on Patreon. We've got a few different tiers that we're doing right now. At the $10 and above level, we are actually going to allow people to come in to a pre and post show room where we get some extra access with us. We're going to call it our green room. So you're going to be able to jump in and you can discuss with us ideas. We can just talk about things that you want to talk about. Whatever. It's going to be an open, free-form kind of discussion, a little bit of behind the scenes of Phoenix Down Radio. And, we're hoping to expand on things like that and, get some more involvement with everybody out there. So, like I said, if you've got a couple of bucks that you want to throw down, by all means, you can go to patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio and take a look there and see what we're all about. And Nerdbirds, that's a good question. Maybe you can help us to list it there. And maybe expand more about what you're talking about. Why we don't stream under gaming talk shows? Are you talking about here on Twitch, or because we do? I also do stream a little bit more, just regular gaming content as well. So.
I guess he's asking why we don't put the show under gaming talk shows.
Okay, well, maybe you can we can discuss that on Twitch. Okay, so maybe we can figure out how to make those changes down the road, and we're kind of flying solo here. We're playing by ear a little bit on some of this, and any assistance or ideas? Yeah,
are extremely helpful.
Exactly. We'll take those things under consideration and advisement. So thanks for mentioning that. Appreciate it. So moving on, our next bit we're going to talk about. We're going to jump into our How Do I series. This kind of came up because somebody from our sister talk show, Moogle Go Round, had never done anything in the Gold Saucer.
It's more common than you'd think. I had a couple of friends in the Free Company who a week or two ago found out they had never done a single gate. They didn't even really realize that was a thing.
And that kind of just boggled my mind a little bit, because I figured everybody at least jumped in and took a look at it, in one way, shape, or form.
Apparently not, though.
But
I guess not.
Because of that, we figured we would talk about How Do I Gold Saucer. Seyrr, why don't you kind of get us started on this?
All right, so the first thing that you're really going to even see when you walk into the Gold Saucer is the mini cacti. It's basically a simple scratch off lottery game where you're given a free number, and you're asked to reveal three more numbers on a 3x3 grid. At the end of that, it's going to be like a number 1 through 9. So at the end of that, they ask you to pick a row, and then they reveal all the numbers in that row. And they have a little conversion chart on number sums, on row sums, to MGP payouts. MGP being Manderville Gold Saucer points.
Oh, they don't just reveal the ones you chose. They reveal the whole card, so you can see how you just made the stupidest choice possible.
Yeah. So that can go anywhere from what is it, 36 MGP all the way up to the jackpot of 10,000 MGP.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the mini cactpot just because of how quick it is. Even if I've had a really long, exhausting day, I just want to check my retainers and go to bed. I can at least stop in, scratch off a few bubbles, and see if I get anything nice. It's really low effort and low energy, and you tend to get pretty decent rewards out of it.
Yeah, it's going to a net gain in MGP overall, but you kind of jumped over how to get into the gold saucer to begin with.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
We got this whole nice paragraph there that Seyrr took time to write out and explain everything, and he jumps right into Cactpot.
I'm sorry. I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself, but anyway, the Manderville Gold Saucer.
Seyrr, why don't you go ahead and read your beautiful writing?
So, I mostly just talking about this lovely casino in the middle of southern Thanalan. Actually starts out in Ul'dah, just on the streets. The quest, "It Could Happen to You." Really love that whole phrase, just for that whole, like, captures that excitement, the lottery aspect, oh no, but really, like, you could be a winner, this sense that the Manderville Gold Saucer has. But random youth on the streets of Ul'dah who will tell you all about how he's just won some prizes there, gives you the ticket that you need to go in. Just head straight up to the airship docks, take the flight in, and you get that gorgeous approach cinematic, and you're there. They make it super easy to get in. They give you a batch of quests that take you on the full tour of the place. It really feels like something where it's like, no, we want you to feel welcome here. This is a place for you to play and have fun. And they do that just for the get-go. But yeah, if you haven't been there yet, just look out on the streets of Ul'dah, right by the Immortal Flames area. Just look for that quest. It could happen to you.
Mm-hmm. Kind of funny little note. So you can maybe back me up on this. Do you think that they sort of kind of modeled the place after the Rio, of all places, from 2014's FanFest? Because going in there, it kind of gave me that vibe of just like the casino lobby area just outside of the convention hall.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that was specifically that casino or casinos in general, but there definitely definitely did seem to have a lot of similar modeling. These beautiful plush floors, gorgeous decorations, absolutely no windows or any type of thing that tells you where the sun is in the sky or gives you any type of sense of what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that happen in real casinos too. It is easy for it to turn to night, to turn to day again, and you just cannot see it from inside. That's done very much on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like they kind of do the same at the Manderville Gold Saucer. Makes it really feel like a casino.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of nice. It was a very subtle touch there. I liked it.
All right, then continuing on with the Cactpot theme, we just talked about the mini Cactpot. You can win up to 30k MGP if you get 3 lucky tickets. Otherwise, you can enter the weekly Jumbo Cactpot, which actually will be, drew what, about 30 minutes ago?
Something like that. What is it, 10:30 right now? Yeah, about 30 minutes ago. So the Jumbo Cactpot is probably what most people would consider a conventional lottery. It's going to be a 4-digit number drawn. Cost 100 MGP to enter. And basically the matches on the ticket start with the last number, and then they kind of go outward. So the matches will be the last number, last 2 numbers, last 3 numbers, and the entirety of it. And even if you don't match anything, you still get kind of a consolation prize. So starting with the consolation prize, it's around 200 MGP with the early bird special. Then the last 2 numbers are approximately 1,000 MGP. Or I'm sorry, the last number is about 1,000 MGP. The last 2 numbers are about 10,000 MGP. The last 3 numbers are about 100,000 MGP, and the entirety of the number is going to net you just over 1 million MGP on the jackpot.
As well as a ring, correct?
Is
Oh,
that what
yeah.
that is? I never.
Yeah. No, that was actually back in 1.0. They had a ring design contest. People submitted all sorts of various designs for rings. The winning ones, they were promised were going to be in the game someday. That Aetherite ring, the ones that a lot of crafters wear at level 50, is actually one of the winning ones from that. And that Chocobo-headed ring, that is actually also one of those contest winners.
Oh, very nice. I didn't even know that. See, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. Kind of a nice little token, just to show that no, you didn't make this MGP by playing against Triple Triad against whichever NPC for days upon end. Nope, you struck it big at the Cactpot.
So then, aside from the Cactpot options, we've got a bunch of mini games.
So the first, I would say there's two classes of minigames in the Gold Saucer. There's Class 1 and Class 2. The Class 1 minigames are lots of traditional arcadey type machines. There's Kuffaker, which is basically a
Your punching bag.
machine, which features Gilgamesh. You got Moogle's Paw, which is a Japanese-style claw machine.
Crane game.
You've got Monster Toss, which is a basketball minigame. And you've got Crystal Tower Striker, which is that hit the mallet on the button, and hopefully your little cactuar goes all the way up to the bell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the real world equivalent to that is actually called.
Strength Tester game is the game I've usually heard for that.
Okay, so
The Kuffaker,
basically-
the Gilgamesh motif on Kuffaker is kind of an interesting one, given Gilgamesh's appearance in the Hildebrand quest and the somewhat tumultuous relationship he seems to have with the Mandervilles.
Well, yeah, it definitely is the Manderville Gold Saucer, so you got to factor that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they have an interesting sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. But all of these games, they're usually quick in and out games, and they generally involve, with the exception of Moogle's Paw, they involve a moving bar going up and down over the course of about a second, and you have to try and hit a button to stop it at a sweet spot that will net you some MGP. Usually, it's about 25 MGP on the max payout, I think, with the exception of Monster Toss, which will be a little more.
But yeah,
But
these are
those-
the ones that came in first. When the Gold Saucer first opened up, these were the mini games that were available to us.
Yeah, they boosted the prizes levels all throughout the Gold Saucer recently, which has actually made these games pretty worthwhile to win. I know for those who get involved in Chocobo racing, there's a Kuffaker machine right next to the Chocobo registration desk. And usually when I'm doing a race, since you have to wait a short bit for it to actually start it, I'll get in a couple games of Kuffaker just for the extra MGP.
It's generally a very good return on investment, even if you don't get the max payout.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the newest mini games that they added in, the ones that are based off of the 1.0 Gathering games.
Yeah, so these two other games are Out on a Limb and The Finer Minor. I guess I should just kind of break these down one at a time, because while they are kind of similar, there are some subtle differences. Out on a Limb, it starts out with you having a bar type meter that goes up and down over the course of a few seconds, and you could stop it on one of three difficulties. There's a Cactuar difficulty, which is easy, a Marlboro difficulty, which is normal, and a Titan difficulty, which is hard. And basically what happens in this minigame is you are tasked with trying to find a sweet spot on I guess we'd call it like almost like a half circle or crescent moon shaped thing. A little pointer moving around that, and you're trying to find a sweet spot that will drain the life of basically a makeshift gathering node. Like Class said before, it was based on the logging minigame from
This was
14
it's how you gathered for botany in 1.0. You had to find the sweet spot in order to get your item out of it. And you would get kind of notifications whether you were getting hot or cold on it. And when you got right on top of it, you would get the item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interestingly, back then, you actually had very little control over what item you got. There were some areas you could aim towards that would be more likely to get a particular item, but you really had no guarantee.
And the
That was
areas
more than a little frustrating.
The areas were actually random as to what items would drop as well. You didn't. Each location didn't have the specific item, and you wanted it like we have now. You actually had to guesstimate where you think it might be, because it'll kind of run in that general area. But like I said, it changed every time.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of interesting in terms of stimulating the, oh, hey, you don't actually know what's going to be in a vein of ore before you mine it. But it was also a little frustrating, and I do appreciate that they decided to sacrifice that verisimilitude for reducing the frustration of it.
Yep. I mean, like I said, it was fun when I first tried it, but like I said, if you were trying to get a specific item so you could craft something, it was very annoying.
Yeah, just imagine trying to level up your smithing skill with that.
Yeah, or try and get a stack of a specific ore so you can do different synths. Yeah, it was a pain in the butt. And then Finer Miner is basically, it's similar, but how it worked, instead of having basically your quarter circle, you had kind of a radar dish that would go in and out from the center out to the edge and back in, and you basically had to try and find the sweet spot within that little circle there. And then the closer you got to it, you'd get those cues again, good, great, and then excellent on top of it, in order to find the sweet spot and get your, in this case, MGP, but in 1.0, that's how you found your item that you were going to mine.
Mm-hmm. So basically, for both of those, they start you off on a time limit of 60 seconds once your difficulty is set for either one of them. And if you find your MGP payout fast enough, they'll actually let you double down on your bet and have you do another node for the remainder of the for the duration of your original 60 seconds. You can do that theoretically as many nodes per se as you feel safe doing in the 60-second period. And I've heard reports of over 600 MDP payout per 1 minute.
I can tell you from specific experience that it will stop you after 6 nodes. I cannot do that on mining at all, but in botany that does give you about a 600 MGP reward. I can't do that consistently, but I have had it go that high.
Yeah, I've never had it go that high. I think the highest I've had it go is a few hundred. So
I hit 500 once, but yeah, it gets difficult because, like I said, it's random. And when you get into the higher difficulties, those bars and those circles move a lot faster, so it's really hard to control exactly where you hit it at.
Mm-hmm.
I found that actually the medium difficulty is probably the easiest one to get fast MGP.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean that method of doubling down pretty much applies to both of them, and that's pretty much why they're so similar.
You can get a lot of MGP doing those games real quick, and just like the initial games, they only cost 1 MGP to play.
Yeah, and most of the time too. Isn't there? I know one of them is fairly near the Chocobo registrar as well.
No, they're both near Verminion. You want to take Verminion Square in order to get to those.
That's the only time you're going to want to take Verminion Square.
Womp womp.
You know, I didn't even know there was an 8th right there until about 3 weeks ago.
Awkward.
Anyway,
Awkward.
next part we're going to talk about are the gates, or the gold and active time events.
So, gates are pretty much like fates in the gold saucer. The main difference being is that they are actually regularly scheduled. You know exactly when not any given fate will come up, or I'm sorry, gate will come up, but you kind of know within the class of what they are, of what could possibly turn up and when it could possibly turn up. So there are two kinds of fates. So the fates that take place on Event Square, that
They happen
start
on the
at
45s.
45s past the hour.
So right now, but don't leave. Stay with us.
That's it. I could totally make it big as the dancing queen. It'll be great.
And there's two different gates that happen within Event Square. Time of My Life, the one I hate the most, and Any Way the Wind Blows, Seyrr's favorite.
They're
Everybody
both
loves
great.
Funga.
The Time of My Life is one that involves mimicking emotes. If you're going to do that one, turn on the emote filter in your chat log. Otherwise, you are going to get flooded like crazy from everyone else nearby who's performing it.
Yeah. And then the other one that occurs at 45 is Any Way the Wind Blows. Basically, you stand in place on the stage, and after a while, it'll freeze you. And Typhon will come out and do an AoE attack on the stage. And you may or may not be standing in it. If you are not standing in it, then you actually get to go through to the next round. If you survive 5 rounds of that, then you get
Lots of MGP.
Lots of MGP, and eventually, with enough wins, you get the Funga title.
Yeah, that one is considered one of the hard, not necessarily harder, but it's definitely the most random because there is no clear sign as to where Typhon's going to sneeze. You pretty much have to just choose a spot and pray.
Yep.
People have discovered some spots are somewhat less likely to be hit, but it's still pretty much a roll of the dice.
Yep, you can increase the likelihood of getting through it. I believe there's 3 spots on there that have about a 30% chance of winning.
Yeah.
If you pick one of those 3 spots.
Yeah, so there are 3 spots that basically have... He has 18 different AoE attacks that he can do, and there's 3 spots that only occupy... That only share space with 5 of his AoE attacks, so it's about a little bit less than a 33% chance.
So, if you want it, and that's information about that's all over the web, so you can search to find those. Then the gates that are on the 15s can take place within Wonder Square or Round Square. They remain open for 10 to 15 minutes, so you can actually have time to jump into those, while they're running. Whereas the ones that are on Event Square, you have a very small window to jump into those. You have 2 minutes from when they're announced to get in, pay your registration fee, and participate in the fate, or the gate, excuse me.
That said, the ones that are at 15 minutes past the hour are also ones that take a little bit of time to execute. So if you wait a long time, you don't have as much time to actually complete the gate.
Yep.
It's a bit of a trade-off.
So you want to either get there right away to make sure to give yourself the maximum amount of time, or, like I said, hopefully you get really lucky. The ones on the 15s can also be redone if you fail.
Some of them.
Skin Change, you get 1 pick, but Vase Off and Cliffhanger, you have multiple tries. You can pay for additional tries with Vase Off because you have to buy new vases, basically, and then Cliffhanger, it's unlimited until you succeed, basically, right?
Right. So, you have 3 different gates in total here. You have Skin Change We Can Believe In, which is basically you're looking at an NPC, and you want to basically memorize every possible visual detail about them: their hair, their face, their equipment, weapon, armor, blah blah blah. And you have to find their exact doppelganger within the gold saucer, and you only get one shot. There are various NPCs that look extremely close that maybe have one subtle difference, and the entire thing is just basically there to fool you. So make sure that when you actually try and do it, that you're very well aware of every possible detail about the NPC that you're looking for.
Some people take screenshots or pictures.
I admit nothing.
Right?
Sarah's one of them.
Right?
Dude, it works. Some of those differences are really subtle. The last couple rounds I played, in one of them, it was whether the deciding thing ended up being whether they were wearing a ring on their hand. So noticing first off that they were not wearing gloves and that one of the hands had a small silver ring. Another one, it was their lip color. Like sometimes it's big obvious things, sometimes it's really small and subtle.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So you got to really pay attention to that.
That one personally is.
It's fun, but like I said, it really tries your memory. The next one, that vase off, basically this one, you're tasked with taking these very expensive and very fragile vases from one gold saucer employee to another. But there are antique thieves that are trying to take them away from you. So you need to try and get through the gold saucer without getting caught by them or breaking the vases. So
they are, of course, super fragile.
Super
so if you
fragile.
try taking the Ethernet, those things are shattering.
And if you jump off the top, yeah, good luck. Like
They're also shattering.
Yep. So you can. So you have to time your advances, because the NPCs do move back and forth. But beware, they do have a decent aggro range, so to speak. So you need to make sure that you're out of sight range from them. Otherwise, you'll get caught. They'll take the vases from you, and then you have to pay 50 MGP to try and do it again. But if you succeed and get to the other employee NPC, you will win a significant amount of MGP.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, actually, this is probably one of my favorite ones for this type of gate. It's Cliffhanger. There's two different locations that Cliffhanger happens in. One is on that little mountain area, and the other one is on, what's it called? El Colosso?
El Colosso.
That
yeah.
Spanish for the Colosso. I am not kidding. One of the NPCs there says that. It's kind of great.
The big giant Senor Sabatender statue in the middle. You've got that framework of a path around him. That's what that is. That's how you get up there, is when they do Cliffhanger there. You sign up for it, you get to go to that point.
It's a really pretty view.
It is. It's kind of fun. So you need to go rescue a wayward chocobo chick and avoid gobby bombs. Gobby bombs will blow you off of the structure, and you'll have to start over from scratch. But you have basically 10-15 minutes to get it completed. So just keep trying.
Yeah, if you're very familiar with the route, it doesn't really take that long. It takes about a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And
Assuming
yes, Tristan,
you don't get
we are nerds. We're nerds talking about gold chocobo or gold saucer. Say gold chocobo because the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to do a TLDR on chocobo racing. This is probably my favorite thing that I do in gold saucer. With the recent buff that they gave to chocobo racing, it actually becomes a decent MGP maker at this point, and it doesn't take forever to do. Basically, they've taken chocobo racing from Final Fantasy VII and they've put it into 14 for us. You start off by completing a short quest to unlock your starting chocobo. I like the title of this one, So You Think You Can Ride This Chocobo. You were saying that that's in reference to the 13.2 theme?
Crazy chocobo. It's kind of a hard rock chocobo theme, which a lot of people were really disgusted by, but I think it's really great.
It's not hard rock. That's called screamo metal.
I don't know genres. I just know that it was loud and it involved chocobos and it was silly, and that was enough for me.
That is definitely screamo metal.
Anyway, I liked it too, but so basically, getting back into the game, once you unlock the chocobo racing, you can then take on a number of different NPC riders or form a party of comrades to play against and race them. the higher up you finish, the more experience your chocobo gains, and the more MGP you win. And as you level up your bird, they will gain stat points in one of 5 different stat categories. They are maximum speed, acceleration, endurance, stamina, and cunning. Now, what those do, that, like I said, max speed, how fast your chocobo can run. Acceleration, how fast they get to that speed. Endurance, how long that they can basically run for before they start to consume stamina at an increased rate. When they start, they call that stats lathered. They're basically burning more energy than they really should be. Stamina is how long you can keep running in general. Because once you run out of stamina, your chocobo runs off really funny like.
You literally blow out.
Yep, and you go super slow and
He's such a tired little bow.
Yeah,
So cute.
head kind of flops around, tongue's out. It's like, ugh. And then cunning, basically it affects how effectively your chocobo navigates a course with rough terrain. So, terrain change and things like that will normally slow a chocobo down, but if they have high cunning, they're going to be able to navigate through that without losing speed.
Yeah, some of those courses, for instance, there's one near each of the city-states. The Gridanian one at Tranquil Paths includes a lot of running through marshland, and that will massively slow down a chocobo that isn't very cunning.
Yep. And then every level that you gain also grants you a training session with a chocobo trainer, and you can stack these up so you can use a bunch of them at once. You don't have to use them every time you level up. During these training sessions, you can feed your chocobo a special type of racing feed that will raise one of those 5 stats. And each one of those types of feed has 3 different grades. A grade 1 will raise that particular stat by 1%, grade 2 by 2%, and grade 3 by 3%. So basically, the higher those stats are, the better your chocobo is going to perform. Now, the higher your chocobo's pedigree and rank are, so the more you rank up, and then the further along in generation that it is, because you can actually, once you get to a specific level, you can then breed your chocobo with another chocobo and make another baby chocobo, which has a enhanced pedigree, up to a maximum of 9 generations, I believe. Is that correct? You start with generation 1, and you can go up to a generation 9. That's going to be the highest pedigree, and then also the higher the stat potential is for them. It's ranked 1 through 4 stars. So you want to try and have as many 4-star stats as possible. That means they're going to have a maximum amount of stat available for those particular allocations.
Breeding is definitely one of the trickier parts. You want to try to pass on good stats, but you only have a certain number of attempts. There's an entire little mini genetic system. It can be kind of tricky. I can tell you, based on the experiences of a friend of mine who did get a maximum pedigree, maximum stat chocobo recently, it is just like previous Final Fantasies. You can make things a lot easier for yourself with some very careful inbreeding. I am not even kidding here.
You heard it here first, folks. Game of Thrones, a chocobo race.
Oh, God. All the dead chocobos.
Yeah, it's like, what exactly is the red wedding here? Do we want to go down this road?
Well, what happens when you get a chocobo that you breed out that you don't want to race?
Cute.
That becomes the dead chocobos. Anyway,
they get turned into paper. They're like horses.
The red wedding happens when somebody choco meteors me when I'm in first, and I just end all of you.
That's a super chocobo meteor, right?
Oh yeah. You do when you're racing, you do get those various items on the course. It's a little bit like Mario Kart in that you get all sorts of various items. The people who are farther back get stuff that can be a bit more of a game changer, and it really changes up the situation, not knowing what to expect. If you're at the front, you're going to be the target of more things, but you also have a little more control over the tempo of a race. There's a lot of theory and interesting stuff that's written about chocobo racing. So if it's something you decide to get into, it can be a very deep world.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot more involved with chocobo racing than we just discussed here. So there's a lot of good guides that are available, and if you guys really want us to, we can link them in the show notes for this particular episode, so you can kind of get more in depth with it. We just wanted to discuss it, the basics on how to get involved with it, what the different stats mean and things like that, to kind of get you involved. So there's a lot, like I said, what we can link to one of those more in-depth threads. I think was ffxiv.chocobo.com or something like that is a good race.
There's an absolutely brilliant one that I will be happy to share. It's the one I use to learn how to do a lot of this stuff. Very accessible.
So that's Chocobo Racing, and then we have Triple Triad. Luna, why don't you tell us, you do much Triple Triad, Luna?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing over a picture Jordan posted in the chat right now.
Jordan.
Oh, we love you, our listeners.
Oh god. But no.
When did so many of you end up on the couch?
Right? I don't really play that much Triple Triad. I've played a tiny bit just to I get it basically out of my challenge log and then I haven't really gone anywhere with it though.
Seyrr, why don't you tell us a little bit about Triple Triad then?
Sure. So I mean, the short version, if you played Final Fantasy VIII, it's just like that. You've got cards. Each of those cards has a number on a side. You place down your cards, and your opponent places down cards on a 3x3 grid. Each of you trying to place down cards with a larger number facing the opponent's ones to flip them over. First, whoever gets the majority of the board wins. You can actually get cards from a lot of different places. You can play against NPC players and win their cards. Lots of dungeons and trials will drop cards for monsters that show up in them, some fates as well. You can have, again, that collecting aspect of your favorite characters, favorite monsters. The highest ranked cards are even Final Fantasy characters from other games. And they do have those weekly tournaments where you can go up against other players and against NPCs and try to achieve the largest string of victories to win one of those really rare cards. So, like the other ones, not necessarily anything that's super required, but something that gives you a little bit of an extra fun thing to do. And for people who really like that kind of strategy, who like trying to assemble a perfect deck to find that combination within the cards that have been placed to pull off that board flipping card, thing that can be really fun and exhilarating.
It would probably be a good idea if I didn't click on the wrong room for a second.
Yeah, that might help you.
I was trying to click on the text chat for random, and I ended up clicking on the random chat, voice chat in here. So that was smart of me. So fortunately, I caught it right away, so we didn't miss too much, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely it's one that, if you're interested in it, I would say, honestly, just go out and play some games. You can never lose cards. Once you've claimed a card, it is part of your deck forever. So there's not really a lot to lose in going out and experimenting. A lot of NPCs or regions will have a variety of rules that change up the game, that make it to allow you to set off particular combinations that cause related cards to gain or lose power the more of them you play. So there's lots of different deck designs that you can do, and a lot of people have fun with retuning their deck to try to take on particular foes. There is also something kind of gratifying about going up against Rowena and just smashing her deck out of existence after all she's done to you.
Well, the nice thing I like about Triple Triad is the fact that it doesn't take much time to get a game in. It's something you can do while you're waiting in queue, which you can't do with a lot of the other mini games.
Yeah.
You can't do the Chocobo Racing while you're waiting in a queue because it queues you into an instance. Same with this next one we're going to talk about, Lords of Verminion.
Ugh.
Yeah, Klaus, that's your baby. I'm not even touching this.
There you go.
Okay, since I'm the only one who's done anything in the game, it's basically it's a real-time strategy game that was initially conceptualized as an April Fool's joke. Seriously,
you really like to emphasize that.
It was.
I should have stayed that way.
It was. It was last year's April Fool's joke, and it came into the game. And yeah, really, the only use I have for it now is since they boosted the challenge log is to get my free 10k MGP for playing 3 games. You don't even have to win them; you just have to play them.
So basically, go into a game and let my dogs out. Got it.
Yeah. It'll take a little longer that way to lose, but I mean, if you get into the third one and you have the wolf pup, there's a strategy out there that basically lets you walk through most of the challenge games basically, and you can just use spam wolf pups, send them into the enemy crystals, and let them destroy them.
You zerg the shit out of it is what you do,
Yeah,
basically.
basically.
So it is literally Zerg Rush. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what it is it's basically a rock paper scissors type of relationship between the different types of minions. You've got poppets, monsters, and critters. One's weak against one, strong against the other, and you just try and. The basic idea is you want to play them against each other, but like I said, most people just zerg the puppies and win.
That seems like good advice for life as well, really. Just get a whole bunch of puppies and win.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Probably.
At least you won't be called the crazy
Life
cat
advice.
lady. But I guess, I mean, it's not. The idea behind it was interesting. The implementation and the way it actually works in game has some work that needs to be done. I think, like I said, it'll be a lot more palatable as a mobile game.
Yeah, as something that does not exist in 14.
Like I said, I don't mind that it's in 14. It's just, like I said, it's like I said, make it a mobile game. And if they hadn't spent so much time on it, maybe we wouldn't be so salty on it. Who knows?
Maybe
Well,
you
yeah.
have a
Yeah,
better
I mean-
item.
But then,
Can I derail just for a minute here? For the
1
people
minute,
that
I'm
don't-
timing you.
Okay, for the people that don't get this joke, Heaven's Word came out in June of last year. 3.1 came out in November. It had various delays after people were already tired of Alex Savage and this, that, and the other thing. And one of the things that was in 3.1 that was completely useless was Lords of Verminion. So if that's the kind of hate that all the community gives it, that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's
And
where a lot of it comes from. That's true. Then the other thing they did recently to enhance people's experience within the Gold Saucer was they introduced the challenge log entries for Gold Saucer. Because basically, what we got out of it is it took forever to gain enough MGP to get some of the higher tier glamours and mounts. So they basically gave us a buff to a lot of winnings as well as these entries where it encourages you to play mini games, play Verminion, do some chocobo racing, and do some gates, and you get bonus MGP up to 60-some thousand per week.
Yeah, if you knock out every single thing, you're looking at about 65,000.
Plus
I
the
really
winnings.
Yeah. I really love challenge log bonuses just because there's such a mentality to say, okay, we must do the single most efficient activity. Anything else is pointless. And that's an attitude that makes people burn out, that makes them upset, that makes them not really enjoy what they're doing. And challenge log bonuses have generally been something that reward you for doing lots of different things, that give you an excuse to say, oh, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Well, I ran one or two of these. If I do another couple, I'll get the bonus. I'll go ahead and do something else for a bit. It's kind of a thing that makes people take that break and take a moment to just do something else and have a little bit of fun with it. And if that keeps people from burning out, more power to them.
Yep. So that's basically Gold Saucer in a nutshell. How it got in that nutshell, I'm not sure, but sorry.
Someone get it out.
Help! I'm in a
Very,
nutshell.
very tiny
Why am I in
goldsmithing
this
hammer.
nutshell? Sorry, bad
Very,
joke.
very big nutshell then.
So we want to hear from you guys. What would be the next thing you want to hear about in the How Do I series? Send us that email, podcast@phoenixsoundradio.com. Like I said, we want to hear your feedback. Let us know. Now we've been getting some requests in the chat, lore or riot. So fortunately for them,
Dude, I could have them right. That sounds fun.
All in due time,
all
everybody.
right. So
At
apparently
least videotape it.
Seyrr opts for riot. So Tristan, sorry, you're gonna have to wait.
Burn this mother down, Tristan.
Now they're talking about what MMO stands for in there. Tristan's saying MMO is for a massively monotonous obligation. And Moogle Quest, I think, is a little more on point. It's my Makode obsession. I think that Sonoma would agree with that one.
That
Sonoma
one
would.
sounds like someone's story title there.
Yeah.
We've got I think we have to make that the show title. Oh man. Anyway, so before we get everybody in here rioting, people do come for Seyr's story time or our lore segment. Seyrr, what do you have in store for us this week?
All right. So this week, three different things came together. Gamer Escape had a recent interview with Koji Fox, where, as always, he tossed lots of really good tidbits, these little bits of meat to us slavering dogs who want all of these stories. I got a tweet from Emmy Catapow of Ultros, who mentioned that if her FC chat was anything to go by, the Heart of Sabik and the weapons would be something interesting to explore. And Final Fantasy Record Keeper had a FF12 event, and every time they do that, I start feeling like, hey, I should totally actually finish playing through that. So all of those together, that gives us Ascians and Evilise. So those Ascians, and kind of this recurring power behind the scenes thing, big manipulating type one. The word Ascian comes from ancient Greek, and it literally means one without a shadow. There's an element that have kind of been around since the very beginning. We saw them even as far back as 1.0 taking on two different forms. One of them was these sinister NPCs that seemed to be involved with really unknown stuff that was hinting that, hey, this is going to become important later. The Limsa Lominsa opening questline featured Travanshay, an Elysian man, who was involved with several artifacts relating to Seal Rock. At the time, we didn't really know anything about Seal Rock, just that this was somehow some kind of traveling island place of power. People were fighting over artifacts related to it, and he took several of them before vanishing, saying that power as this does not belong in the hands of your kind, giving this early clue that, hey, these people knows about these really mysterious things, these artifacts that we don't really get, that they're people who know something more than what we know. There's also a mysterious skeletal creature that appeared in a portion of the main scenario. And it kind of had a little bit of like the Grim Reaper appearance, cloaked, skeletal wings, a skull appearance. That image actually got edited a bit later on. Koji Fox talked about this in large part because it localizing the game for a worldwide audience, they actually have to deal with a number of cultural taboos. For China, there's a big one about things relating to the undead and skeletons. So a lot of those things that were originally bones were turned into bone-like ornamentations, and it became more of like a shadowy figure type thing. So like the Ascian Prime that we fight, it's less of a skeleton in a robe and more of just like a Reaper-like thing. Koji did emphasize that form is one of their truer forms. He really emphasized the one of part. Normally, they take on the form of various spoken races. We see them looking like Seyrrs a lot, but that's really just more of an image that they project to make whoever they're communicating with more comfortable. And it was suggested that some of them feel, hey, the Warrior of Light knows what they really are, knows what the truth is. Why bother with the pretense? We're just going to show ourselves in all of our glory. We do get a little bit in the main scenario about their biology, ecology, life cycle. It's kind of hard to figure out what the right word for it is, but how they seem to be a form of life energy that dwells in a different life stream, in a dimensional rift. That's one of the things that ends up making them so hard to kill. They don't get dissipated into the life stream like other things when they're defeated. They return back to their rift, recover their power, and come back. So definitely something that has this really alien feel. Which really adds on to a little bit of that creepiness factor in terms of we don't really understand what it is, and it's got its fingers in everything behind the scene. They've been around for a very long time, effectively immortal as far as we can tell, our murdering them notwithstanding. They played both sides of the major military conflicts of the Third Astral Era. They taught the various Beastman tribes the art of summoning, directly responsible for the existence of Bahamut the Primal, almost certainly other ones such as Sephiroth and the other Warring Triad members that we're going to see. That's something that they've repeated in the sixth astral era, going around to the various beast tribes and teaching them to summon. But then at the same time, they went and provided the Alligans with the plans and the parts for their anti-summoning weapons. They really seem to like this whole building up the conflict to a fever pitch by supplying materials to both sides. I would not be surprised to if it turned out that they were actually instrumental in helping Ammon with the process that revived Emperor Zandi, brought about his madness, and brought about the great disaster that ended the Allagan civilization. That, as I said, that plan did seem to be repeating itself. It was emphasized a little bit more 1.0 that they were teaching the beast tribes the art of summoning, but they also are involved in the development of the Garlean anti-primal technology. They seem to be doing that again in Heaven's Word, building up the Dragon Song War to a fever pitch, but they got caught in Thordan the Seventh's machinations. So it definitely seems like they have kind of a preferred modus operandi that ourselves and Thordan have really been wrecking. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a little bit more desperation as their preferred tactics aren't really working anymore. And these creatures that have been repeating this cycle for millennia upon millennia are having to try to adapt to a new tactic. In particular, for those Garlean, formerly Allag weapons, Ultima Weapons Core is an artifact that's called the Heart of Sabik that Emmy Catapau was asking about. It seems that the summoned primals that the weapon absorbs are used to power it, and that's what eventually allowed it to bring forth Ultima, absolutely wrecking the Praetorium, threatening us, causing Heidelin to expend the last of her energy to shield us. Koji has said that we have not seen the last of it, and we're not going to have to wait for the next expansion to find out more. So that definitely sounds like that element's going to be coming back in the next expansion or two. Apparently, just like the Garleans, the Alligans also didn't really have a lot of knowledge of the Heart's capabilities. So it seems the Ascians provided it to them, and they didn't really ask very many questions about it before they went ahead and just put it in their super weapon. Which is kind of amusing that the Garleans really want to be like the Alligans right down to the mistakes that they made.
So are you saying that the Ascians are like Acme Corp?
Kind of. They're going around, they're just saying like, oh, hey, here's this really useful part. Go ahead and put in your weapon. Oh dear, it malfunctioned. It launched you onto the desert floor. Well, we definitely weren't supplying anything to the Roadrunner, but maybe this device will work a little bit better. And just really escalating that conflict all around. The name The Heart of Sabik is actually kind of interesting because Sabik is one of the brightest stars in the constellation Ophiuchus. You may also know it as Serpentarius. That one does have connections to Elidibus, especially through the Evilly Sleek that we'll be getting into. It's unclear what the nature of that connection is, whether Elidibus was the one who created the Heart of Sabik or the one who supplied it, or I don't know. Like, it seems likely that he's directly involved, but we don't actually know for sure. We just have this connection of the constellation name. I mentioned Seal Rock earlier. Seems to be Allagan technology. It's some kind of mobile island fortress that moves around. The fact that Travanchet knew about it suggests that the Ascians may have had a hand in its development as well. It's really kind of an open question just how much Allag would have accomplished if not for the continuous prodding from the Ascians. So I mentioned about that whole building up both sides of the war. That's something that, again, we saw in the earlier parts of A Realm Reborn when we had those extreme primal quests where we defeat the primals in hard mode. The Beastmen tribes are taught new methods of summoning, more extreme methods that create these more powerful primals, and then we go forth and defeat it. I remember scenes where the Ascians are watching this and commenting that, you know, us winning does play into their plans. They really want to build up that conflict. So it's my best guess is, given that they seem to want to trigger that calamity, that massive loss of life, maybe building up the stakes on both sides makes that calamity more powerful, makes it more likely to wipe out the civilization. No, it's a reasonable speculation, but I don't think we really have a good idea about it.
That's an interesting thought.
The Ascians themselves, there seem to be a lot of lesser ones. In quests, we see ones with names like Ascian of the 12th Pentacle or Ascian of the 12th Sword. Those ones have considerably weaker powers. And then we have a small amount of named ones, La Habrea, Nabrialis, Igeorum, other ones like that. Those names have actually shown up in a previous Final Fantasy game, in Final Fantasy XII. In 12 setting, the gods created espers to act as their servants, and each of the 12 zodiac signs had a scion of light and scion of darkness. One of the espers grew proud and led the scions of darkness in rebellion against the gods. Those espers were defeated and cast into the wilderness. Kind of an interesting comparison to the whole like Lucifer raising an army against God there. Why that matters, those scions of light, the ones who did not rebel, who remained servants of the gods, they share a name with the Ascians. Those names are taken from Judeo-Christian mythology, and each one is supposedly the name of an angel. In Final Fantasy XII, those scions of light are supposed to be a force for light and good. Interestingly, there's a legend in the game of another Esper who never rebelled, but who was sealed away anyway because the gods feared his power, and that Esper was named Zodiark. Further, each of those Espers has an associated glyph, and you may have remember in various scenes when the Ascians start really drawing out their power, start becoming serious fighters, that they have that sort of glowing glyph that appears over their mask. And those glyph designs are parts of the small parts of the larger glyphs used for those espers. So it definitely seems like there may be some kind of connection, whether they're just reusing it because of this element, or whether there's like some kind of deeper connection. Adding on to that, in that Gamer Escape interview, Koji Fox mentioned in the continent of Othard, quick refresher, we are on Eorzea, made up of Aldenard and Vilbrand. To the northeast, across that land bridge, you have Islabard, I think it's Islabard, which is the main seat of the Garlean Empire. And then further to the east, you have Althard. That there are cities or regions in that area named Rabanaster and Dalmasca. Those are two of the really major important things in the Evil East setting that was used in Final Fantasy XII. I really find that connection to Final Fantasy XII interesting. In 12, one of the major themes is that humanity is unknowingly under the thumb of these godlike beings who are manipulating the world from behind the scenes. And so in order for mankind to realize its full potential, they have to cast off these gods. The Garleans believe that the primals are the false gods who are holding mankind back, but as a result of trying to cast off those false gods, they've fallen under the sway of a different set of false gods, the Ascians. Part of me wonders if maybe the Ascians started planting the idea in their head to begin with. I mean, you had those scions of light that those Ascians are named for, who were supposed to be the servants of the gods and forces of good, but if the gods are this bad thing that needs to be thrown off, that needs to be left behind in order to move towards the future, then maybe their servants, those scions of light, maybe they're not really the good guys either. I mean, of course, there could be a lot more to the conflict between Zodiark and Hydaelyn than we know. But yeah, definitely giving us a sort of like, hey, we have this parallel structure from a previous game that gives us a little more insight into the nature of what we're facing. That's something I really love about how they reuse a lot of the elements from earlier installments. It's not just, hey, we're going to grab this name, oh, hey, we're going to name this after that, but they often seem to bring over a lot of the themes. They parallelize a lot of the story structure. And so it's not just a, oh, hey, I know that name. It's, oh, hey, because I know something about that story, that gives me a little insight into this story. I got a little bit rambly there, but hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into what we know about the Ascians. Definitely seems like, especially given the revelation that we're going to be learning more about the Heart of Sabik, that they are not out of the picture yet. The ones that are left continue to try to manipulate the world from behind the scenes, and we're going to see a lot more of their machinations in upcoming patches.
One thing that I like about this whole thing that you brought up, it actually talks a little bit about and expands on the possibility that, you know, people have speculated that the world 14 is in Hydaelyn, Eorzea, that's actually kind of a nexus point to a lot of the other worlds or what am
I
word I'm trying to think of here for all the different other games to where
the multiverse, I think, is the term I would use.
Here you go. So it creates these bridges between them. But how they try and link a lot of the different. Man, I'm having a bad problem with wording today. Don't you love that? You know,
Yeah,
How do you
I think I
word?
see. I think I see what you're saying here. There's sort of like, hey, you have these other games, and it's not just a, hey, we're referencing it. At some point, it starts to feel
there's links
it's
between them.
like sort of like Eorzea kind of resonates with those worlds, and so things from them kind of like end up making appearances. Maybe it's not a wholesale, oh, hey, we're bringing it over, but because it appears in this world, it sort of like resonates and echoes in this one.
Yeah, and I know.
And
like,
now that I use the word echo, now I'm starting to wonder about how the echo plays into this.
Well, another thing with Final Fantasy games is it seems like a central theme behind that is to basically overthrow any type of religious power that happens to be taking over. You see it in a lot of the different storylines of the game. I mean, look at the Holy See in this game. And then you look at the Ascians, things like that. So I mean, it's kind of an overarching theme that Square likes to put into their Final Fantasy games. I've noticed in a lot of it. So I've heard other podcasts and other streamers talk about that as well. So, and your examples here are definitely a good point to that.
I really feel like I swear I saw this in an interview somewhere. I haven't been able to find it since, though, so now I'm starting to wonder if I misremembered it or made it up. But that back when we had the crossover event where Shantoto showed up, the first Final Fantasy XI crossover, someone made reference to that the idea that there was a reason that all of these various interdimensional travelers, Shantoto, Lightning, all these various other things, that they all end up making appearances here, that there was some kind of reason for all of these things showing up there.
Yeah.
I really feel like that was some kind of official interview somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it since, and it's been driving me crazy.
I remember hearing about the same thing, and I mean that Iroha falls within that as well. And I'm assuming that when we get the crossover with 15 and to Moogle Quest's joy that Noctis and the boy band show up in the car that he loves.
But yeah, I mean, given that Heidelin in the most current main scenario stuff talked about how the world was kind of shattered into several reflections, one wonders if those reflections are sort of reflections of those other the worlds explored in the other games. I really wish we could have gotten more information out of her before she got dissipated. I mean, I know the storyline is going to try to hold it back from us as long as possible to build that tension, but that's something I really want more info about.
You know,
there's so many things it could mean.
We might get a lot more information on this when the lore book is released.
Possibly.
And that's supposed to be coming before FanFest, I understand. So I'm hoping
debut at FanFest.
Send me a review copy or something. That's the thing you do, right?
Well, I'll take a review copy.
Yeah, right?
So that was actually a lot of good information. I'm amazed that you were able to dig up that much, Seyrr. Thank you so much. You work really hard on those segments, I can tell.
Yeah, I always start with like, okay, we'll just talk about this one thing. Is like, oh, hey, there's that connection to that. There's that connection to that. I think as I said, the fact that they've gone to the effort to connect not just the names of things, but actually having those themes, having those ideas that get expressed and revisited and re-examined really makes it a lot richer and gives me a lot more to work with. So the fact that they've done that in some ways makes my job a lot easier.
So guys, if you enjoyed that and want to hear more about different things within the lore of Heidelin within Final Fantasy XIV, let us know what you want to hear. You can tell us in email, podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. You can comment on the show thread when we get that posted at www.phoenixdownradio.com. You can shoot us a message on Twitter. Go ahead, sorry.
I also wanted to mention, for those of you who can't get enough of the lore stuff, due to I did get a couple requests at phoenixdownradio.com. I did include a longer write-up about last week's or last episode segment on Gilgamesh, including a bit of an examination of the full Epic of Gilgamesh. It's a bit of a long read, but it's kind of a fun, exciting story, and seeing a lot of those elements really, again, fills out a lot of the character that they've developed and really gives you a lot of understanding about why he might behave the way he does.
No,
And it was just kind of fun to write, so I hope you'll enjoy it.
It was a good article, and I was really looking forward to you putting it out there. I'm glad you're able to get that done. I'm like I said, I'm really hoping we can get more stuff like that. And if you guys want to read more stuff like that, let us know so we can convince him to continue to give us additional bits of lore that maybe didn't fit into the show. So, like I said, you can do it on Twitter at PHXDN Radio. Like I said, lots of different ways to get a hold of us. Now, we did get a little bit of email this week. I kind of asked for this one. Literally. An anonymous emailer did email us back. Klaus is a pervert and a stalker. Now, I'm not sure necessarily how I feel about that, but thanks for listening and emailing us. We appreciate that. You know what they say, no publicity is bad publicity? Right? Isn't that how it goes?
Phoenix Down Radio featuring pervert stalker Klaus.
Let's not go that far. But like I said, if you guys have comments or emails that you want to send to us, just shoot them our way. We're more than happy. We'll read them on the air. Like I said, even that one, we read it on the air. They didn't think I would do it, but I did it. So, ha.
I am so tempted to start anonymously sending 50 Shades of Grey fanfic.
Fanfic will not get read.
Oh,
Sorry. Gotta draw a line somewhere.
seems reasonable.
So, anybody have any plugs that they want to throw out there? Any shout outs?
I don't know. Shout out to our sister podcast, Moogle Go Around.
Definitely want to give them a plug here. If you haven't checked them out yet, we have been posting their episodes as they gave them to us. Go to the website and you'll see they've got 2 episodes out right now. Go give them a listen. It's good stuff. Like I said, I'm really enjoying what they're doing. So I hope that you guys can go take a listen and let people know that you enjoy them. You can follow them on Twitter at MoogleGoRound as well. Let them know what you think. Gotta give a huge shout out to our first $20 patron. He is our rabid fan who was here to start with. Had to go to bed early though, or just to go to bed in general, I guess. But Chili is our first $20 patron. And for those who aren't aware, at the $20 a month level, you're going to get a shout out at the end of every episode. So we're going to give a shout out to Chili at the end of every episode mainly because he's just awesome. Chili is super awesome and we love Chili. So thank you so much for that support. I'm also going to throw another shout out to Nick Nar for subscribing to us on Patreon as well. We appreciate that. So thank you so much for that. We appreciate everybody who helps support the podcast through Patreon. Like I said, we can be found there, patreon.com/Phoenix Down Radio. Go check that out. Like I said, if you've got a few bucks that you can donate every month, it will help us to make sure that we can improve the quality of our podcast and help keep everything going and give you the best quality that we can. Any other shout outs or plugs that you guys want to throw out there?
I have one.
Go ahead.
If you guys missed it, last episode of Gather Together, I was a guest host on there. So go on over to Gather Together and give it a listen. It was a lot of fun. There was booze involved, too much giggling to be had. And yeah, it was just all around good time. So if you guys want to head over, give that a listen.
It was a great episode, actually. I did take a listen to it as soon as they put it out there. And I listen to most of their episodes when they come out. I really do enjoy their show as well. They're found at GTFFXIV on Twitter or GTFFXIV.com is their website. You can go give them a follow as well. They're really good. We like I said, we like to support the quality community out there. And we want actually more people to give their opinions of what they think of this game. So
Yelta and Ruby are great people.
They really
So-
are.
Definitely go give them a listen.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who are just like really enthusiastic and devoted and trying to do a really good job of creating fan content and sharing all of these ideas. And it's something that I don't feel like I see with a lot of games. Just like the kind of explosion of people who really want to be involved with it and want to do something creative with it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I can think of at least half a dozen Final Fantasy XIV podcasts off the top of my head, and I'm sure there's more that I haven't thought of either. We mentioned, Moogle Go Round and Gather Together, but there's She Heals, I Tank. They are a really good podcast. We've had a little bit of a back and forth between myself and the hosts, Vegan Pete over there, and his girlfriend, Avi. They're currently on vacation this week, so I don't know if they're going to get a chance to listen to us again this week yet. But I'm hoping that when they hear this, that they appreciate that we people out there think they're doing a really good job. So I want to give them a shout out as well. I mentioned that earlier, but I get too many things in my head and I kind of forget things. So especially when I don't write them down. Anything else, guys? Any personal
I think
plugs?
we're all good.
Well, unless we're doing personal plugs right now.
Go ahead.
If you want to find me on Twitch, Twitter, Luna_Vox, head on over. I post a lot of random things. I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy X and 10-2 once we get there sometime soon, hopefully. So if you want to go on that journey with me, come along and give me a like on my Twitch channel to know when I go live.
Seyrr, go ahead.
If you want to follow me, send your random lore musings at me, see me tweet occasional pictures of the lunchboxes I made or things like that. It's going to be on Twitter at FFXIVSeyrr. That's FFXIVSEYRR. I feel a little bit happy every time I get a follower request. You guys make me feel important. It's nice.
Sayo.
And for me, I'm not very active on Twitter. I keep saying I'm going to try and get better, and I will try and get better with this. But my Twitter is at Seyrr, so that's at SEYOMEYO. And on Twitch, I definitely want to get into streaming more as well. So my Twitch is Seyrr_FFXIV if you want to toss me a follow over there. I'm probably going to be playing a lot of 10-2 as well. Do obviously a lot of 14. Lately talking to sentient bug people and helping them give weed to a bunch of hunters.
You make it sound so scandalous.
And I have been known to dabble in Hearthstone now and again too. Scandalous.
I think it's a wonderful thing that Dravania has such a progressive drug policy.
Definitely. So yeah, if you want Sayo to tweet more, go follow him and say, "Hey Sayo, we want you to tweet more. Damn it, give us stuff."
Tweet at Sayo so he can tweet at you.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Tweet at me, senpai. And if you want to follow me, I am at Klaus_FFXIV. That's Klaus with 2 S's. You'll mainly see me tweet about bread that I make or on the different runs that I go on. Maybe just some random musings, things like that. Or if you want to follow the show, we are again at PHXDN Radio. That's where we're going to do most of our Final Fantasy and show related stuff. So go ahead and follow us there. Again, the website is phoenixdownradio.com. Facebook, we're at facebook.com/phoenixdownradio. Again, patreon.com/phoenixdownradio. And right here, if you're not watching us live on Twitch and you're listening to us on the podcast, come check us out live sometime. Twitch.tv/phoenixdownradio. So, if that's going to take it for this episode, for LunaVox, for Seyo Mayo, for Seyrr Tomono, I am Klaus Nightbringer, wishing you all a wonderful evening. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.